What's up guys, it's Flare Unique and today I want to talk to you guys about Resident Evil Project Resistance. This game has been out a little over a month now, 2 months. I was waiting for it in April. That's right, yes. So this game has been out for a little over a month now. It's receiving some pretty mixed reviews. If you're here, you probably have some questions about the game. You either own it or you were thinking about buying it. If that's the case, I'm going to try and help you out a little bit to figure out whether or not it's a good choice. Could definitely say just off the bat that this is the type of game that would benefit from free to play given its nature. It is attached to Resident Evil 3, the remake of the mainline story. If your question is this game worth playing? Hold on to that thought. We are going to get back around to that. But in order to answer that, you need to understand some things about the game, and I'm going to help you there. Now, as much as I'm not a fan of the asymmetrical type multiplayer games, I haven't played Dead by Daylight. I've seen plenty of people playing that, and my friends are really into that. I personally don't play it. But is this game like Dead by Daylight? Yes and no. It's like Dead by Daylight if all the survivors had military weaponry. This is not as hopeless a scenario as it was in Dead by Daylight. In Dead by Daylight, you pretty much throw stuff in the way. You can temporarily disable your chaser. If I remember correctly, if your pursuer is on your tail, you can throw something in the way that he has to break apart to come after you, or I think that's about it. Once again, I don't play the game, but there's not too much you can do to get away from them, to fight back with them, I should say. But it follows about the same style here in Resident Evil, where you have 3 objectives that you need to do. This is multiple levels. This is not one stage. So you have 3 different things you need to find on one level. After you find those, you move on to the next part, which gives you a little bit more time, 2 minutes. Pending that all the survivors make it there, you get 2 extra minutes. You get to buy stuff at the beginning of each stage, and in between there's little places you can get into that provide a little bit of a safe space for you to buy in the middle of the stage. Second level, you're gonna do the same. You're gonna find these 3 objectives. The second actually has 1 extra objective because you need to beat something up, get the key. Then you can use that key to unlock the 3 objectives for that second stage to move on to the third. Third stage is the same as the first. You have 3 things you need to find, but this time you just need to destroy them. You destroy all 3, you get to the exit, ta-da, you win. That's it. In this aspect, it is different than Dead by Daylight. It is its own type of game. When it comes down to the survivors, which one is the best really depends on your own play style, and it also comes down to a little bit of luck, because when you get in, you can only have 1 of each character. So you can't have 4 Jans, you can't have 2 Tyrones and 2 Samuels. It has to be 1 of each. So if you spend your time leveling up 1 person and say somebody in the next lobby grabs that person you were working on, you have to get someone else. You do have to work with different survivors at times, but you can make a conscious goal to go for 1 person and really build them up, and get the perks for them. If that's a playstyle that you're looking for, go for that character. Just have a backup plan, because you're not always going to get them. The masterminds pretty much follow the same rule. Not quite follow the same rules as the survivors, because you're always going to get whatever mastermind you want. No one's going to get in your way. No one's going to choose your mastermind before you get it. That's an upside. The masterminds are also dependent on your own play style. Like, I personally cannot play Alex. I can't play Spencer either. I'm not good with him. I'm not good with the tactical, methodical, this and that poison them and infect the survivors and find your way through traps and no. I throw swarms. I throw hordes. That's what I do. And there is punishment for that. Another thing to note about the survivors is that each of them has their own special abilities, things that you can rely on, like Valerie's the healer. January, she's good with electronics. She gets discounts and she can disable cameras quickly and shoot them. Like, she gets things that are geared towards really directly dealing with the mastermind, being able to directly interact with and stop the mastermind is basically what she does. Samuel, he's really good at basically taking the pain for the team. Like, he can be your frontliner because he regenerates his health. He has a lot built towards basically being a kind of tankier person. That also kind of goes the same for Tyrone because his abilities make him more of a frontliner as well. Like, he opens doors by kicking them, while every other survivor will ram their bodies through the door and get attacked by the first thing that's in the room. Survivors, remember that. Let Tyrone open the doors if he's on your team. Don't run off without him because he is the one who's going to get you through that door without taking any damage. You go through and something grabs you, you're getting bit, and you might get infected. And now you're bleeding out time when you could have just let Tyrone do it. Off track. Okay, then you've got Sandwich. Martin Sandwich. Really good with disabling traps. Martin will go in and he will take your traps apart, and he gets time for each one of those that he takes apart. So do keep that in mind. He also is very good with mob control. So if, in my case, I'm a net person, I love to play a net. And Daniel, when I'm throwing out my hordes, if Martin steps in there and uses his ult, and he just flashes the entire room, renders them useless for a god-awful amount of time. Becca, she's geared towards long-range combat. She's got infinite ammo for her ultimate. They've all got something good going for them. So you've got to keep that in mind when you're building for your mastermind, and of course, when you're building your team. As far as goes for which side is better. The problem with this game, and one of the big problems with this game, is that it is unbalanced. This goes for both sides. As a survivor, you're working with random people. You know how that goes. Work with what you see your teammates picking. This all goes back around to your trying to find your play style, but at the same time, you really have to know what your team is working with when you choose what you're going to do for your team. You know, the level balance. You can be a brand new survivor versus level 120 a net. The matchmaking system is not made for you to go against people of your own level. It just is throw everybody in and see who wins. You gotta take the losses. I know it sucks to say, but just let those points accumulate. Eventually, you will get your stats. If you have a high level survivor on your team, you have a pretty good chance of winning. It's a lottery. This game is the lottery with zombies and lickers. It's tough to deal with some of the more methodical masterminds. I'm not one of them, but once again, have seen many playthroughs. People who play Spencer a lot. He's one of those people who can use, he has guns galore. He has a whole bunch of traps and guns, and he can lock doors. He gets extra bio energy charge off of just basically everything that he interacts with. But when it comes down to it, if you have a competent team, you pretty much win. I think every time that I've seen a full team playing online together, against some random mastermind, they've always won. I can't think of one where they have not, because if you and your team can work together, the balance really heavily shifts toward the survivors. It's a lot to deal with when you especially are starting off, because you're pretty much hopeless from level 1 to 16, I believe it was, and then really honestly until you hit 24, you're not going to get the best parts of your equipment. You can't reach those boxes until these different increments have been met to open up equipment. Same goes for Survivor. But a lot of the content was cut out of Resident Evil 3 to make room for this, and it shows that there was not a lot of thought put into this game. But getting back to the first question here, is it worth playing? It is worth playing. I think that the game is so much fun. Like, it is really a lot of fun. It just needs some work. I'm still playing it, and I'm sad to see that the PC player base has begun to drop so much, but I think that it's really worth the time. I do, however, think that they need to step back and think about this game is not going to be so successful being hidden behind Resident Evil 3. I think that they need to make this free to play, so more people can get into it. Why not make it free to play and then just add in more cosmetics? You'll make your money and then some, because Project Resistance is a game with a lot of potential. But no one's gonna see it in the shadow of Resident Evil 3, which some people won't even want to play Resident Evil 3. They want to just play Project Resistance. They're not gonna buy a $60 game to play something that's worth $25, $30, maybe $30. I'm Flare Unique. The best thing you can do to help me support the channel is hit the like button and consider subscribing so that you can keep up to date on my future uploads. You can take a look over to the left and over to the right and choose from either one of these videos if you want to see something else from the channel. I'll be back with more Streets of Rage soon and more reviews later. Alright guys, well until next time, I'll see you later.